On this week's edition of Minor Defense Force, meet Robbie, a 20-year-old car enthusiast posing as himself on the Meet Me app. He messages our decoy playing a 14-year-old girl. And watch as he realizes
Amanda's my niece.
It's time to say uncle.
I'm Uncle Chuck.
In the 19th Catch by the MDF, we're playing a 14-year-old 8th grade girl named Amanda. In fact, it was me playing Amanda for 3 months. And in case you're wondering what type of dominant, next-level human shape it requires to play a decoy for 3 solid months, you're in luck. Roll the 80s montage!
See the guy looking at himself. I'm pretty sure we're all in this guy's bathroom. Here's a clip of him doing stuff, and he's terrible at the stuff that he's doing. We see him not be good at things, and then we see that he can feel the failure. Now he's done that stuff hella times, and all of a sudden he's much better. You need a montage when you don't have time. Now 3 months went by. Ooh, rough singing.
You may have noticed that this week's show is already a little different. We've never blurred the face of anyone on a Minor Defense Force video, but unless Robbie is just doing an amazing impression of what your grandmother sees without her glasses on, that we have purposely decided to keep his face hidden. This was a choice we won't be making a habit of, but it's to indicate that Robbie, unlike many of the monsters I come into contact with, wasn't exactly predatory as usual. Also, we'll be testing out our new segment, Freeze Hates Your Food.
This food sucks!
As you'll find out in the interaction segment, Robbie was a different kind of groomer. He may have not even understood his grooming. He's in the wrong. He wrongly and knowingly begins a conversation with a minor. On the other hand, at every opportunity, Robbie makes it clear that sex and most sexual activity is out of the question. Robbie is 20. If you've ever been 20, then you'll know that there's a mature 20 and an immature 20. That's not an excuse for illegal behavior, but at 20, it can certainly be the difference between a good and bad decision-making skill. When we typically converse with the predators, they might pretend to not be interested in sex. This is a tactic to explore the subject. They'll continue to mention it and continue to push to see what's possible, until they are firmly asking, fantasizing, and using pornography to make their intentions clear. Robbie did none of that. He steered the conversation away from sex. He asks to meet the decoy's family for dating permission. And he stated on more than one occasion that he valued her safety, equating sex with her to being unsafe for her. But there are flags and warning signs. He is messaging a child. He does treat her as a desirable partner. And by putting his toe into an illegal water, he's breaking moral rules that border on broken laws. In full disclosure, the 2 writers of this program, that's me, and this quiet fellow who won't share his name, we really went back and forth on airing this episode. This is not a traditional catch. More so, it's an intervention. We know that's not the traditional video that the predator catcher viewers want to see. We love a good retribution video as much as anyone. Our question was, if a person seems savable, and we can help him stay on a good path that seems to be compelling him already. Will you, the viewers, be interested in that? We decided to create this video because we hope you're tolerant to the idea that not everything is cut and dry. But we also decided to air this episode because there's a line, a legal line, a moral line, and that line was crossed. Robbie isn't the monster who leaves his wife in the night to kidnap a kid and rape her after sending graphic photos. But the line is the line. We decided to air this video with Robbie's face blurred because this is an intervention. We can't know if Robbie is worse or better of a person than we think. It's not our job to assign those titles. But we can be the fork in the road. At the beginning of every show, we air a disclaimer that essentially says that we cannot legally claim anyone is guilty until they are proven so. And we're not governmental employees. But, you know, we're there. We have the evidence. They're guilty. When we're not sure, we're not going to lie. Or make the catch something that it wasn't. We don't lead the conversation, the third party does. If you've never read our disclaimer, here are some interesting things you may find in the fine print.
Minor Defense Force is a for-entertainment entity. Any person resembling a person that resembles the people they resemble is entirely accidental. Especially Kevin James. I get it. He's a portly gentleman who acts silly. I'm a portly gentleman who acts silly. Not all portly gentlemen are the same. That's portlyism. Stop asking me to quote the Mall Cop movie. No, I haven't seen Leah Remini. Hey, maybe if this goes well, every time Kevin James goes somewhere, a predator will run off thinking it's me. Anyways, I'm not Kevin James.
We first come into contact with this week's catch on the Meet Me app where he's going by the name Robbie. He begins the chat by commenting on the decoy's username and asking for her real name. He then learns that Amanda, our decoy's assumed identity, is young enough to be blocked for having an account on an adult-oriented app. He says, "Nice to meet you, Amanda," and immediately considers their age difference by saying, "I may be a little too old for you." This isn't unusual. In the process of grooming, it's typical for an older person to address the differences in age to get over the barrier. This is different as opposed to, say, grooming cats, where they treat you like the barrier and do whatever the fuck they want.
Hey, Go get! Why aren't you scared of me anymore, you bitch? Get scared. Go on.
What's unique, however, is Robbie immediately attempts to gain family involvement by saying, "We can be friends and see where it goes, I guess, but I won't date you without meeting your parents and seeing what they think, and I won't be doing anything sexual." At this point, Robbie is either playing the most challenging game of hard to get ever, or there's a misguided sincerity that's happening. At this point, in an effort to preserve the account, Amanda asks Robbie to switch to text messaging, and we send mutual proof photos to prove that we are real. Robbie asks for a picture with ice cream placed on top of Amanda's head. If you're playing along at home, this is one strike against Robbie, a guy willing to meet someone's family in a failed reading of consent laws, because he's still seeking picture validation of a girl that he can't legally validate. They talk, and Robbie says, "You're beautiful, by the way." This is strike 2 in a game with so many losers it should come with a dealer table. The decoy asks, "Where are you from?" Robbie states that his current location is Winston Salem, our home base, and he talks about cars for the third time in 20 minutes. In a weird way, Robbie's seeking out Amanda's interest in his passions because, unlike normal predators, Robbie isn't as focused on sexual activity as he is mutuality. It's misguided, but he's actually making sure they have long-term compatibility. When Robbie asks, "Are you in the 7th or 8th grade?" Amanda answers 8th, and Robbie tells her that he's in college. And this is the line. If you push past the idea that Robbie is talking to a minor, and he absolutely should not be, this sobering difference in life experience is where a conversation should hit him in the face. For reference, Amanda has never driven a car. Amanda hasn't paid a living space fee. Amanda doesn't need GPS because at 14, Amanda knows everything. Amanda has never overpaid for a well drink. Amanda has never argued about late fees, driven down to a call center, and beaten someone up for transferring her call. You know, mature adult things. At this point, Robbie reminds Amanda, who says she's awake studying for a biology course, that she should rest for school. The following day, Robbie and Amanda share pets photos, allowing me to feature the real star of this program, Simba. We've also chosen to blur out Robbie's dog, lest we receive any more threatening letters. By the next day and into the week, Robbie and Amanda talk about her school. They talk about her choir practice. They talk about her grades. Robbie says, "I'm proud of you for doing good in school." The decoy says, "It's nice to have someone proud of me." And Robbie responds, "I'm sure your parents are proud of you." At this point, we learn that Amanda lives with her crazy aunt. "So I'll be meeting your aunt then," Robbie proclaims, and again showcases his desire to meet Amanda's authority figures. "I want to make sure she's okay with me being around you," Robbie says. "It feels like the right thing to do." Amanda says that the relationship with her aunt is strained, and Robbie asked, "Does she ever drink and hurt you?" Actually looking to protect the decoy from afar. This white knight-ism isn't uncommon, but it's weird coming from someone in Robbie's shoes. At this point, we're getting the impression that Robbie doesn't understand the ideas of who can consent and when. He maintains his wishes and expresses a genuine concern. Robbie asks about her favorite color, her favorite music, tattoo and piercing preference. When Amanda texts Robbie during school time, instead of saying, "Hey, is this really a 14-year-old?" he says, "Please focus on school and don't text me while you're in class." They discuss their favorite foods. They talk about their day, one day after the next. They discuss driving, drifting, family dynamics, and at this point it dawns on me. I think I'm Robbie's girlfriend. Robbie asks, "You don't drink, vape, or smoke cigarettes or smoke weed, do you?" He's actually vetting their lifestyle choices for compatibility. He's not making sexual advances or pretending to just be curious about her sexual history. Amanda persistently weaves a story about a crazy aunt, a person she describes as a drunk and bad person. I designed the decoys to be from troubled homes because this allows the predator to assume a position of caring. But it also tells them that an ingrained lack of accountability exists. It makes it plausible that the decoy would slip away, and it suggests that he or she comes from an environment where bad decisions are common. Lack of parents, lack of rules, and lack of structure is exactly what child predators are after. It allows them to fill the mentor void. Robbie isn't aware of any of that. He doesn't use the broken home as a way to say, sneak out. Instead, he says, "I'm sorry that you have to deal with that," and continues to ask about the ambitions of Amanda's future. "Do you want to have kids eventually or no?" "I think so," we respond. And Robbie says, "Happy eventual Mother's Day to you." No, that's not a thing. Hallmark doesn't have an eventual section. Here's some other things we cannot be wished under the auspices of some eventuality. Happy eventual retirement. Happy eventual final birthday. Happy eventual growth removal. Happy eventual colon cleansing. Happy eventual happiness. And happy eventual, but not far, yet foreseeable, but not current eventuality. If the conversation stopped here, I might be inclined to just write Robbie as myself and say, "Look, dude, this is a predator catching team. Go talk with your church and tell them that you're a lonely dude who needs company. You're looking for a wife, dude, but you shouldn't be looking in the juniors section. Get it together and be better." But Robbie's feelings start coming out, and while it's less predatory than emotional, it's ultimately what leads us to meet in person. "What do you want to do this summer?" he asks. "Would you like to do something together or wait?" "Do you like hugs?" he asks. "I love hugs." "What else do you like?" we ask, seeing if he's trying to sexualize this minor. "I love cuddles, but that can wait. Kissing can wait too." "Can I have a picture of you?" Unsure of the point of this direction, we send Robbie a more risque picture. Not graphic or mature, despite the fact that our decoy models are adults. We never engage in assumed child pornography. But we're trying to understand if Robbie is slowly converting Amanda into a sexual liaison. Robbie doesn't make any comments about that photo. He talks about piercings and says, "I don't want you to be unhappy, ever." Day after day goes in this pattern. We send more photos, normal, everyday photos, and Robbie says, "You're really pretty. I could look at you forever. You should send me selfies more often. I hope I make you smile." Robbie is obviously totally in the wrong to try to normalize a relationship with the child, but he isn't leveraging pictures into sex talk. He isn't instructing Amanda to break the rules to see him. He balances every compliment with a question about her day. Whereas sex groomers use strategies to get more pornographic, Robbie is the type of groomer who builds connections so that over the long term, he's got a life partner who only knows the role to be Robbie's way. The central question in my head, and the theme of this episode is, does Robbie know that? Does he know that this is still grooming? Will meeting Robbie and telling Robbie that he can't be this guy actually put him on a better path? And does the fact that I'm questioning the motives make Robbie a different kind of person than, let's say, the 50-year-old inviting a boy to his vehicle for confirmed sodomy? If this is a matter of Robbie at a very immature 20, believing he can get consent to date, not sleep with, a 14-year-old. "I enjoy thinking of things we will do together," he says. "What will we do together?" we ask. "We will work on cars together. We'll hold hands and go to car shows and church and drift events and restaurants and the mountains. And if you want to, we can go to the beach. We can go camping too. We can watch movies and cuddle, go on drives, explore old places, and I'll give you piggyback rides and carry you in my arms and give you hugs and kisses." Robbie just outlined his fantasy relationship, and he prefaced it as being something in the future. So now I know two things for certain. One, Robbie's version of the perfect relationship is straight out of a country music video. And two, at some point, I'm going to have to break up with Robbie? After reciting his modern Western fantasy, Robbie is lovesick. "I can't sleep and I'm thinking about you," he says. "You make me smile, Amanda." And yet still, for every time he says, "I can't wait to hug you and look into your eyes," there's him saying, "I don't want to potentially get in trouble for meeting you, even though it won't be sexual." Finally, we discuss the realities of the age scenario. I'm worried that I would be considered a pedophile if I met you right now because you're a minor and I am not. He's not talking about sex here. He's talking about being attracted to her, and questions if even meeting makes him a bad person. The answer is yes. You have nothing to meet a child about that isn't lawn work. When we ask about attraction and what this all means, Robbie says, once we're older and have known each other for longer, then if you want to have sex, we can. But I don't think we should anytime soon. I want a relationship to last and someone to be with forever. I'm a terrible girlfriend. You're also very pretty and you're also mine, I hope. I wish I could see you right now. Are you going to church on Sunday? These are weird sentences to put together. Finally, Robbie makes the grand proclamation that we all know was going to happen. "Every day I fall more in love with you, Amanda." I mean, when you got it, you got it. They talk pizza. They talk work schedule. They talk living arrangements. They talk marriage. They talk more food. They talk hugs. And finally, after months of discussion, they talk about meeting. Initially, we think it may be at the Sheetz gas station. Robbie says, "Be careful walking there. I don't want you to get kidnapped or hurt or raped." This is categorically opposed to every other person we've caught. They would never risk scaring away the decoy by mentioning bad possibilities. We mention the aunt again, and Robbie again says, "I think I would rather meet her and pick you up so that you aren't crossing any busy streets." After we dissuade their interaction, Robbie finally concedes and says, If you don't want me to meet her, then I don't have to. We talk about Father's Day, and I ask questions designed to find his family information. Robbie returns to talking about hugs, and I ask a question designed to open the door to sex talk. Is it bad that I'm a virgin still? I am too, Robbie says, and I'm waiting until I get married. If this is true, this confirms that Robbie hasn't intended to meet a child for sex. I can't know that for sure, but I can show you many times where talking to a predator about virginity instantly results in the predator trying to establish a sexual meeting. Not only does Robbie not do that, he shuts down the idea in general. We then try to establish the older cousin routine by suggesting that an older cousin could drop Amanda off. Instead of using the cousin as a criminal weapon, Robbie says, your cousin can come along too. We say no, and Robbie insists that the cousin should know Amanda's whereabouts. Speaking of sex, Robbie says, I don't want to do anything really soon because I don't want to rush at anything. I'm in a unique situation where I want the decoy to express more interest in sex. I don't want to emotionally blackmail Robbie into it, especially since he's found himself in a romantic comedy. To a certain degree, if I trick Robbie into saying he would break his own morals to keep Amanda, I don't even know if that's true. I can't say for sure that Robbie wouldn't back out of a sexual situation due to his morals. It's not clearly the intention like other predators make it out to be. You don't have to guess if someone will defile a child when they send pornography to them. They're already breaking laws. We ask, have you ever done anything? I fingered a girl before, he says, and immediately expresses regret by saying, I hope that doesn't make you mad. He explains that his parents are divorced and that it's prompted him to be very careful about picking someone. By this point, Robbie is ready to meet, but he makes his stipulations clear. Would you like to go out even if we don't have sex? So we establish a meeting at the Starbucks on Jonestown Road. And as we're establishing the timeline, Robbie reiterates, nothing sexual. I want to get to know you. Amanda had previously said that this was her birthday coming up. And so this day was meant to celebrate her birthday. She requests a drink and agrees to meet Robbie outside of the Starbucks. I'm walking from the back of the building to the patio. The team assembles at the Starbucks of Winston Salem on Jonestown Road. I explain the situation to the crew. This is not a normal predator catch. This is not a disgusting monster past the point of no return. I want to talk to him. But in order to do that, I want to understand what he would have said to the family. So I decide to pose as Amanda's uncle, a divorced member of the family who used to be married to Amanda's crazy aunt. To accomplish this task, I went through a painstaking metamorphosis, prosthetic transformation, and used technology that rendered me virtually unrecognizable. Amazing, right? With the team in position, including our main camera and Jen hiding out, Xander located at a nearby table with the GoPro, and me with the glasses cam at an outside table, we spot Robbie, who is on the phone. This phone call looks staged, so not to be outdone, I staged my own phone call.
Okay, well, thank you. All right, well, come on up then. In like 10 minutes.
What's that? Did you say murder? I've never taken one acting course, neither. At this point, I'm outside. I'm obvious, and Robbie is still on the phone, still expecting Amanda to appear at any second. In an effort to avoid his suspicion, I decide to interrupt his phone call and introduce Robbie to Amanda's uncle.
Hey, are you Robbie?
No.
This is the very moment when Robbie's intervention becomes a video. Robbie's immediate reaction to being confronted is to lie about his name. This shows that Robbie understands he is wrong to even be there.
I'm Uncle Chuck. My niece Amanda wanted me to come talk to you. You said she wanted to talk about getting to know you first or something.
Robbie is trepidatious. He expected to meet a girl that, for all intents and purposes, is his girlfriend. He's now confronted with a wickedly handsome plus-size man with totally real-looking glasses. Not knowing what to do, Robbie pretends to not hear me and continues his phone call.
She said she's meeting you here, and she said that her aunt, my ex-wife, is out of town.
1 second. Okay, so...
Amanda's my niece. She said that she's nervous to talk to you, so she had me bring her. She didn't want to tell you.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, she didn't want to tell you that she asked me to come talk to you because she was nervous. She said you kept wanting to talk to her aunt because you wanted to see if it was okay. Me and her aunt do not get along.
Okay.
We're divorced. So I'm the cool uncle. She's been telling me about you. She said you're real nice. So she just said, will you talk to him first?
As long as it's...
She's already told me.
Somebody that's,
I'm the uncle. Can I sit down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thus far, Robbie has done a horrible job of impressing this family. He's rude, flippant, nonverbal, and worst of all, he didn't even offer to buy me a drink. We just don't think you're Uncle Chuck family material, dog.
I'm Uncle Chuck. Chuck is... Yeah, Robbie? She's told me you're a pretty good guy, man. She actually wrote me some questions. Because she was...
I'd say I'm an asshole, but...
Why would you say you're an asshole?
Let's recap. I'm supposedly Robbie's girlfriend's uncle. I'm the first impression he's making on a family member. Robbie's first words about himself? I'm an asshole. Does it win the award for worst thing you can ever say when meeting a family member? Judges? It counts. We would have also accepted, I'm a mass murderer on the weekends, and would you like to rub my pocket snake?
Well... I don't know, because I have a messed up sense of humor.
What Robbie is doing is more than just making a terrible impression. He's actually trying to figure out how to play the situation. He's calling himself an asshole just in case I'm angry. Realizing that I'm not, he blames his humor. This gives him a hook, just in case he decides to say that the Amanda situation was just a joke. I keep extremely calm, and this forces Robbie to explain his logic, even though he isn't quite sure himself why he's saying these things.
What do you mean?
Well, like, at work, let's see, what's it called? Like, earlier today at work, it was like, they were backing out. I work at a tire shop.
Okay.
They were backing
Yeah,
out.
she was telling me that. They
And
got
I
dreams of
was
mechanics and stuff.
I was like, yeah, you get like bonus points if you hit like, blah blah blah, that works for us and like, the family.
Yeah.
Whatever. Which,
You're talking about the tire shop.
yeah.
Well, but why does that make you an asshole?
Well, because I said bonus points if you hit the family.
Oh, if you hit the family. Oh, okay.
So,
Well, she seemed to make it sound like you were a really respectful young man.
I try to be respectful. Like,
Okay.
In his meeting with Uncle Chuck, Robbie is sinking. Like anvils tied to your ankles. You owe the mob money and you're broke. Plus, you just want a t-shirt for winning the Big Burger Challenge type of sinking.
What did you want to talk to me about? Or her aunt? Because she said it was your idea.
like, once again...
You don't mind if I vape, do you?
No, I don't give a fuck. Your reason, or once you said she was talking to an older guy, your reason to be concerned is exactly my reason why I wanted to talk with.
Okay.
Somebody of authority. I originally asked if I could speak with her parents.
Well, yeah, yeah. We don't talk about it.
So, I wanted to speak with somebody and, make sure that it was okay if I was dating her and, talking to, whatever.
In normal situations,
yeah,
would you think it's okay?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Well, I'm just...
Robbie explains the position he maintained with Amanda. He wants to ensure that his dating her is okay and he welcomes meeting her family. Luckily, Amanda is not real, because Robbie is to introductions what car fires are to, well, cars.
Obviously, she isn't even in high school yet.
See, I thought, or one of the things, probably the only reason I thought about this, any other way was I was like, yeah, if it was I was 30 and she was 24, then this would be different. Or if I was 40 and she was 34, then it would.
So the 6 years, it's because of she just turned 15 today, but so because that versus you don't feel the 6 years is bad at 30 and 36.
Yeah.
Right.
And but it's also not about sex.
Okay. So what is it about for you?
Robbie gives us some insight into his rationale and uses examples of consenting adults to rationalize the illegal age gap. But he also returns to his greatest hit, It's Not About Sex, available now wherever music is sold.
Just in time for the holiday season, it's Robbie's greatest hits. Tracks include Let's Meet Your Family and Make Them Hate Me, I Want My Piggyback, 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 8th Grade Graduate, The Girlfriend Song, and many more. Act now, and we'll throw in the summer sizzling new album featuring songs like Love Me Like It's 9th Grade, Goddess in a Backpack, and the new single, Let's Go Getting Grounded. Yes, once Robbie sings a song, it's his forever, because he groomed it since childhood. Robbie's greatest hits. Get yours today.
Well, I mean, I just love. I want a relationship that lasts, because my parents divorced when I was 4. So,
Why did they divorce?
Because my mom is toxic and she is a narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And they've never officially told me, who divorced who, but I know that it was my dad that divorced my mom. My mom she made me want to kill myself.
Robbie talks about his parents' divorce, an event that has left him very impacted, and he seems unaware that the toxic descriptions of his mother can be applied to his actions with Amanda. At this point, it's time to initiate Robbie into the family. So I asked some questions that any normal, concerned, caring uncle would ask.
What are your plans with my niece Amanda?
I mean, the entire point of a relationship is to get married eventually. So, I'm not somebody that dates just, to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or, whatever else.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in having a short-term little fling.
Next.
So what were your physical intentions with my niece?
Nothing right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
So what was your plan? Just for future?
Well, I mean, we get married and then...
So you wouldn't touch her
No.
until marriage?
That's
What if she absolutely begged? You guys are snuggling on the couch. She's basically begging.
I mean, it depends on how old she was, I guess.
So it's the age thing that's blocking you. It's
part of that, but also it's not going to be anything that happens. I need to get to know somebody.
Correct.
First.
Got it. Next question.
We need boys in our family. Do you think that your family produces boys? If you guys were to get married?
Considering that my grandparents only had 2 sons.
Here's a good question.
My niece isn't pregnant right now, is she?
I have no idea.
Because I have a dog, Fester. He's a pit, and he don't play. So if she's pregnant, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that you asked me that, and that kind of worried me. I was like,
Not with you.
I was like,
Look, I'm just asking basic questions that I think any guardian would ask.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Questions like?
So how would you feel about changing your last name to ours if you guys were to get married?
I don't know if she ever told me her last name.
DuBois.
French.
Dubois. Well, probably. We call it DuBois, but it's actually DuBois.
Dubois. Chuck Dubois.
I mean, I wouldn't mind.
I'm asking that question because we're in a world where gender conformity is different.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to see where you're leaning.
I'd prefer to keep my name,
Yeah.
my last name.
Would you require Amanda to take the last name of? She didn't ask me to ask that. I'm asking that.
See, well, no, I mean, I'm thinking about it because that is a good question. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really thought about that. Probably.
Okay.
I mean, at least I would hope she would.
Sure.
It would, whatever she wants to do.
Now, for a very serious question.
What do you know about Area 51?
Nothing.
An interesting thing is happening. Somewhere between Uncle Chuck's weird questions and Robbie's failed interview, he's seemed not to notice that on his immediate left, a camera is looking straight at him. Having decided that Robbie, who is definitely well over the line by engaging in marital talks with a child, but who is the guy from the texts, I decided to put an end to this false family get-together. I called the crew in, but Robbie doesn't actually notice. From the glasses cam, you can see him chatting away while the video to his side is rolling. Despite this, I'm ready to give Robbie a talking to.
I actually need to come clean about some stuff.
Okay.
Together, we're going to come clean.
Okay.
I'm not Uncle Chuck,
I figured.
How could you tell?
but I do want to have just a real talk with you. Okay?
Okay.
I think that you are going to want to have this conversation because I think I'm going to help your future.
Okay.
Okay? And here's why. My name is Chris, and I run an organization called the Minor Defense Force.
Also, Robbie, I think we should see other people.
You are not the same as the other predators we've met, because you're not a child predator. Okay?
I mean, I hope not.
Okay, Robbie, let me finish. You're not like some of the other people we've met, but the question is, why would you even talk about a physical attraction with a child? So that's what my question to you is. You haven't, you were very clear about being not into sex. Like, I'm giving you that, right? I'm giving you that. Multiple times she even tried to fill you out.
And that's the difference maker to me. Robbie is not here for sex or foreplay. Robbie's here to find a wife.
Let's just go to the beginning. Knowing she's 14, you said, are you in 7th or 8th grade? She told you 8th. Why did you, even in the beginning, want to have that conversation with that child? That's what I want to know.
What conversation?
Any conversation with her, further than just, oh, hey, how are you? Most people we meet on these apps, when they find out we're 14, they block us or they try to engage us. Sometimes they get sexual. With you, it never got sexual, which is what I'm saying is you're not the same as a lot of the guys we've caught, okay? I'm giving you a pass on that. Not something I'm usually going to do. I take this very seriously, okay?
Well,
but you did tell her you loved her. You talked about wanting to hug, kiss, cuddle. There was stuff, right? So
yeah.
I'm just trying to understand. She's 14. You know this. She turns 15 today. Why even entertain that for the past 2 to 3 months if you're 20 years old?
Because, I mean, it's not something like, as I said, it's, I don't want something short term, it's long term. So, I figure, a couple of years from now.
Robbie is even handling this moment different than the usual predator. He isn't defensive. He looks crushed. And he should be. Amanda is not real because we prevented Robbie from grooming a child. Still, he isn't showing any of the usual behaviors of the typical child predator.
Our interview as Uncle Chuck did not lead me to believe that you had any heinous intentions. So I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt unless you prove me otherwise. Fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Robbie says he was unsure about certain aspects to consent law, which is either true or Robbie lied flawlessly all throughout our discussions when he seemed just as confused. This inability to know is prompting me to make a moral call and not calling the police.
You seem to be morally debating this issue, the physical thing.
Yes.
This is why I'm having a calm conversation with you, okay? You seem to be morally debating it. Why not listen to that voice that told you it was wrong and just exit the conversation?
Because, well, it's like, obviously, it's not a real person, but it was like, I believe that...
Right, I'm Amanda.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I figured it was like, somebody might love me. And,
Wait. When did you figure out that Amanda was fake?
Honestly, I kind of thought that Amanda was fake at first.
In the very beginning.
Yeah, that's
But then
why,
you did the proof photos. You asked for ice cream, and she put ice cream on her head.
Yeah, which that was kind of convincing.
So then at what point did you again start to think it was fake?
Well, let's see.
Because Amanda's a real person.
Whenever there's love you too, and that's something like, okay, if you're, like, I always say, if you care enough about somebody, then, you give enough of a damn to put, to take an extra second or half a second and put an I in front of, the...
So the fact she said, I love you too, was weird to you.
No, this like, love you too, it was a little bit ago, but...
So she said love you too, and what, you felt that was disingenuous?
Yes. Now, it may not be, but, or, you may not feel the same way, like, you may not, but, that's just how I felt, because it seems less personal.
I don't for a minute believe that Robbie thought Amanda wasn't real. In fact, his evidence is having a preference in the way that Amanda expresses love, and he's showcasing insecurities that he felt when his affections weren't seriously and equally returned. Robbie is a young guy not wanting to look stupid in a situation where he already looks that way.
We talked about the moral voice. At some point, you could have exited the conversation.
Probably should.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk towards your car and just finish this interview, and then I'm going to let you leave.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to walk to his car. It's over there off property near Arby's. Starbucks has asked us to leave.
At this point, Starbucks has asked us to leave. We move into a nearby parking lot where I continue to break up with Robbie because it's not him, it's me.
Do you realize what grooming is?
The Starbucks marketing plan?
The term grooming.
Not really.
Okay. So, grooming someone is influencing them as a young child until to even consider relationships of sexual nature or any nature, that when they are finally of the age of consent, you will then be able to take action on. So
that's basically what I did.
What you did at the worst case is groom a child. Yes. That's not necessarily like a felony law or anything.
But it sounds bad. Like, okay,
well, it is bad. That's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, and like the thing that I like.
It's bad because we are here because it is bad.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just not treating you the same as I've treated other guys I've met
I appreciate it.
who are actual child predators, because you were never once overtly sexual. In fact, multiple times you tried to get her away from it.
You'll notice that again, Robbie and I are not arguing. He's not defending a position. He's thankful that it's not worse, sure, but he's also a dumb kid in way over his head. And hopefully, he's learning the do's and don'ts that actually stick.
You asked for several pictures and you commented about her physically. That shows that you've sensualized her in some way.
She is a very pretty person. You know, whoever she is very pretty.
Right. But knowing that she was in 8th grade, going into she was in 8th grade, now she's going into freshman year. You were talking about her body, talking about the way she looked. Would you agree that that's sexualizing herself?
Probably, yeah.
So you see why you're not as bad, you still did things that are bad.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, bad is bad regardless.
Bad is bad regardless. Thank you. You said you're a Christian, and so you believe no sin is greater than another.
Full disclosure, I also created the Minor Defense Force to dance around with my shirt off. I guess not.
Why not somebody your age? You're 20, you're in college. Why not somebody your age?
Well, for the most part, I avoid people, and I do not like people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I have a buddy that I met at a drift event, and he was, we were talking often, whatever, and like, a little bit ago, I was like, man, this guy's getting annoying. Like, I don't like. That was one thing that I did like about this Amanda, that it wasn't every day talking, and I wasn't being annoyed and blah blah blah.
This is the first instance where Robbie shares a correlation with many of the predators we confront. He's talking about a disdain for people in his own age category. This can be, amongst other things, the primary reason why predators groom their preferred behaviors into the young. They sort of overlook the fact that their need to speak to young people is indicative of harboring little value to the society around them. Maybe Robbie can turn it around and use the positive things he's seeking to contribute to his personal ecosystem.
I want this to be a learning lesson for you.
Which are my favorite kinds of lessons. The learning ones.
You kept giving yourself reasons to not hurt this child.
Yeah.
My concern is, why then? All of that time. I don't want to hurt the kid. I don't want to, consent laws, this, that, and the fourth. Why didn't you walk away? That's what I want to know. You kept it there. That's what's weird to me.
See, before tonight, or as I was going here, I was thinking about that, and I don't really know why I didn't walk away. But I was really thinking of, like, just staying home in my apartment.
Standing her up, right.
Yeah, like, I mean, that would have
been douchey, but it wouldn't have been...
They wouldn't, yeah.
You wouldn't have... And again, you showing up tonight, you were very clear. Even on your way here, nothing sexual, nothing sexual.
Yeah.
I told you I understood. That's why I continued to do the plan we had. Instead of confront you
like I do everybody else. I'm not calling you a child predator tonight, Robbie.
I
Everybody else
that.
I've talked to, I have called them a child predator. To be clear, I'm undecided, and that is the point. I am hoping that our confrontation tonight keeps you away from this behavior.
Yes, sir, it will.
The world's lonely, dog. Don't go out. Look, because let me tell you what I really think when I'm talking to someone like you. 14-year-olds are easy. They're easy prey, dude. That's why these people are normally predators, because it's easy, right? You're this older guy. It's mystifying. Oh, man, you can take me places. It's easy for younger girls, for these older guys that are into that.
That's weird, bro.
It is weird. It is weird, which is why we do what we do. It's weird.
Well, and I mean, what you guys do is a good thing. I mean, like, I really appreciate what you do, because, and I'm pretty sure that I told Amanda, or like, you know, Amanda with you,
Me.
that, like, you know, I don't like pedophiles. Like, you know, I
You did.
didn't realize, you know, what I was doing is considered that, but, you know, like, I that's, you know, something that I hate. You know, if it were, like, you know,
Well, we would normally call them pedophiles. At this point, a strange circumstance emerges. The police arrive. Due to the nature of our interaction, I made the choice to not call the police. Starbucks had other plans. I genuinely believe that you had best intentions. The problem is it was a 14-year-old girl, so your intentions don't really fucking matter, which is why we're here right now.
ugh.
Okay? I did not call them. Now, if you're Robbie, a self-professed Christian, you'd have to believe that either a divine overruling of my decision has been made, or that I have lied to him.
Starbucks is like your legal property.
Here's what's strange. Every day, people use cameras and take videos almost endlessly. We've all become amateur camera people. I've seen thousands of people take videos at Starbucks. I've seen viral videos shot by Starbucks employees while at Starbucks. I've actually shot commercials, recorded meetings, and just been a smartphone owner while at Starbucks. So why did Starbucks care so much that we were asked to leave? Even going so far as to call the cops once we were away from the establishment. This is why. While interviewing Robbie, a Starbucks employee engaged with our team. Ginger tells them who we are and what we do. This indicates that a judgment is being made on the basis of our content. It's important to know that no other customer was present during the interview. It's this information that prompts Starbucks, a company unnecessarily embroiled in the sexuality culture wars, to make us leave. And that's their right. In fact, it's a policy of theirs. But this doesn't seem to stop their employees, or customers, or anyone for that matter. Maybe it's the fact that our subject matter contradicts Starbucks' stance that sexuality is some endless theme park where nothing should be questioned and there is no right and wrong. Maybe just stick to overcharging us for coffee and stop alienating people who don't share your exact opinions. Or maybe I'm just being sanctimonious. Either way, it's just some overpriced, microwaved, third-rate food for thought. With the ironic arrival of police, the interview has come to an ending. Do you have any more questions for me?
I do not.
Okay, so you can find us on YouTube, Minor Defense Force, if you want to follow up with me. I want to keep in contact with you. I asked Robbie to keep in contact with me because I think it's worth pursuing a future follow-up. I'd like to hear something awesome from this kid. Like he's in a decent place. He's found a wife. Like an adult wife. Not one at a playground. Do better.
I will.
All right.
Hey, thank you so much.
You're welcome. The team scurries to reassemble and refocus because just down the road, another catch is about to transpire. And this predator is everything that Robbie is not. Graphic, lewd, secretive, confirmed in his quest to statutory rape a minor. It highlights to me that my decision to meet Robbie in a different capacity is correct. Immediately after the interview, Robbie sent us a message indicating his appreciation, thanking me, and saying he would be willing to talk again on camera in the future. That's not proof that Robbie will never do this again, but there's never a time, not ever, when the predators I meet want to hear from me for more interviews. I know that this episode is somewhat controversial. There's a case to be made that I should have been more assertive with Robbie, that I had enough information to take him to task, and that for his stepping over the line, no mercy should be shown. After all, if a man can't breathe, he can't fight. I'm not going to pretend that catching bad people isn't exhilarating, and you, the audience, don't have to pretend that you don't enjoy seeing them get their comeuppance. We enjoy making fun of them, laughing and writing bits that undermine the behavior of people that don't deserve to be revered by a traditional documentary format. Not everyone cares for the jokes, and that's fine, because all programs don't have to be the same or be for everyone. On this program, we deal with enough disgusting filth dwellers that we feel inclined to recognize when differences exist. That doesn't mean I can forecast the future, and I wouldn't go that route. But what about this? Many of the people we deal with are serial offenders. They have the entire routine down. What if you could step back in time and stop it before it ever starts? What if that's what we've done with Robbie? Is it worth doing? I think so. And I recognize that in some people, nothing you can say or do will ever stop their sick behavior. So you just prevent it the best you can. Then you make fun of them with silly voices and maybe rip your shirt off and yell at your cats or something. That's my method anyways. Unfortunately, there's going to be plenty of no questions asked, no moral having, absolute terrible people. When we catch them, we'll ridicule them, confront them, make them stand for their grossness, and do everything possible to aid in their arrest. Hopefully, Robbie isn't one of those. But if he is, then that's what awaits him. There's no question about that. And there's no question that no matter your reasons, the line is the line. There are real monsters in this world. Monsters who don't respond to discussion and don't need a chance at redemption. For those folks, our force is never too minor.